Right, today, where's that fuzzy brush? Hang on. Today, right, I've drewed, just sorting my brushes out. Today, I've drewed some money out of the bank, right? I haven't drewed no on here, so I didn't need to. I'm going to start on here by doing my light colours first, so I'm going to do my front first, because that's the lightest colours, so I'm going to do it that way round today. But yeah, so I've not drewed out on here, but I have drewed some money out of the bank because my mum, Gertie D, said that I'm no longer allowed to sit round pouncing off her anymore, and that I've got to start paying board. What I think is a disgrace. I didn't ask to be born, did I? Just because she's saying, like, yeah, I didn't ask to be born, but her argument is that I'm 47 and it's time I started looking after my son. But, and because I'm 47, the oh, I didn't ask to be born argument don't count anymore. But I didn't ask to be born, so I think my mum and my stepdad, right, they had me, so they should pay for me. And the thing is as well, right, your average Joe Blogsers, right, yeah, they should pay for their way in life, right, but people like me and yous what's watching, right, we're artistic. For artistic people to have to go out and get a job and earn his own money and that, it's abuse. We shouldn't have to do it. We're too artistic to have to go out earning stuff. I mean, I've got paper round. I've got my paper round. So that's... It's not like I sit round doing that all day. I do my paper round in the morning. But it don't pay very well. So anyway, I've got to start paying board. Boring. Yeah, I've never heard such a ridiculous argument for why I should have to pay board. I just think it's total abuse. It's like child abuse. And again, my mum's going, yes, but you're not a child. But 47, it's not even that old these days. So I think I'm going to grow up at about my 50s or something, perhaps, or my 60s. I still need looking after, just because I'm 47. Anyway, that's my light colour on there. Might put another layer on top of that when that dries. Right, now then, back to this light colour. Put some foreground in. Tiny bit more water on my brush. That's it. See what that looks like. You know what, I might have a bit of a path in here. On my photo there isn't one, but that don't mean I can't have one, because what do I always say about lobsters? The world is my lobster, so I can stick in here wherever I want. Don't matter about my photo, I can stick in here where I want. So first thing I'm going to stick in is a nice bush there. There we are. I think I'll add another bit of one there and all. There. That's that. And then a bit of a path. That paint's a little bit watery really now. Right, let's have another look. Thicken it up a bit, make it a bit less watery. Pop in. That's better. A bit more on there. There. That's nicer. Roosted that out a bit, that has. I like that. Lovely jubbly. Right, now then, I suppose now, me get me, where's that gone? That brush. Me hike brush. I'm going to mix a light creamy colour, I think. So I'll mix some yellow, a bit of light red. That'll give me a nice creamy colour. So that's lemon yellow, right, light red. That'll give you that creamy colour, and then you can pull a bit of that green in. It'll blend it in nicely. There we are. That's nice. And then if I want, I can go into that light red and just blend a bit in and around as well, so it all blends in nicely. There we are. Like that. There. Oh, that's my path. And then if I want, let's get a few bit of Burnt Umber, and I think it's mud in my palette, but I think there's a bit of Payne's Grey in this and all. And just pop in some low lights in that path. There we are. And then again, if I want, I can dab a bit of that in there. And that's some low lights in here. It's in that yellow, look, it's turning green. That's some extra low lights in there, look. There we are. I'll air dry in a minute, I think. Yeah, let's air dry. Go low, start with. So I don't blow my paint everywhere. Right, while I'm drying this, I'll just tell you a little antidote, right? Right. A couple of weeks ago, right? Right there. Right there. Proper bulldog, you know what I mean? Proper bulldog. And then there, and that. Really right. I'd say roughly about 10 acres, but anyway, that it is what it is, innit? It is what it is. I'm not gonna lie, it is what it is. Right, whack another layer on here. I think you will agree though, that was a really interesting antidote. There we are, a little bit more in there. There, oh yes, I'll put some more in that later when it's dried. Right, now then, I need a sky now. Normally put my skies in first in it, but this time I'm putting it in second in it. Right, so wash my brush out. I'm going to wet all my sky first. Right, this sky's mainly white. There's hardly anything in it. So I'm just going to come across, wet it all. I don't have to go right up to that tree because there's that much white in it that it's just going to look like one of clouds. I don't need to go right up to that. Right, so I'll get some civilian blue and just chuck some bits of that in. That's it in there and let that just drip about and do what it wants. And you know what? I reckon there's a tiny bit of a type of Payne's Greyish type colour, so I'll blob a bit of that in as well, and then I'll blob a bit more water in to soften it all, and then a tiny bit of this purple colour and all. So there's 3 colours in there. Tiny bit of purple, tiny bit of Payne's Grey, tiny bit of cerulean blue, and loads of water to keep it soft. Right, then I'm going to come in then. Oh, let me get some more water on this side bit here. I'm going to come in now, soften that bit there. I'll come in now with my dabber. My cloud rag. This is my cloud rag. And just whack in. Look at that, just making it look like clouds. So it's getting it like misty, faint background. Looks like a few clouds and stuff in it. Well, get some of them colours from there. Dab them in there. There. And when you do it like that, it sort of dries your paper a bit, so you don't have to worry about drying. I tell you what, I'm going to take that off. Don't need to do this, but just pop a little bit there. Come on, that bit in. There. That's it. I think a little strong bit there, because there's a bit there what I don't like. Hide it a bit there, that's nice. And then missed it at the bottom, same with that. Yeah, that's it, that's done. I like that. I will just give that a quick blast with thorough dryer. There we go. I know what you're thinking, but bright green slippers. Bright green. Right. Nah, I want a really, really misty alien background. So I've got that cerulean blue, what's in my sky, and there's a bit of Payne's grey in it and all. So I've got to keep this paint moving right down, else I'm going to get a line. I don't want a line. If I stop, you see how there's a faint line there? That's what I don't want, although that's gone that faint there now, that one's okay, but that's what I don't really want. So if I keep watering my brush down, look, and keep that paint pooling in a pool, and not get that line there. See that? I'm happy with that. That's dead faint background hill. Yeah, I'm going to blow dry that now. There we go. But you know where he's like. You know where he's like. So, I don't know. Doofus, you know where he's like. Yeah, I don't have to tell you. Right, anyway. So now, this hill, I think I need a sort of pale green for this. Right, I'm going to mix a pale green up. So, I'm going to whack that yellow and blue, right, to get me green. And then I think what I'm going to do, I reckon to get it that pale colour I want, I think I'm going to add a bit of Chinese white in. Not just pales things. It's like a really pale looking green. That don't look bad. Tad more yellow. Tad more Payne's grey. Bit more yellow. Bit more Payne's grey. Payne's grey. What am I on about? Chinese white. Not Payne's grey. I haven't put any Payne's grey in it, by the way. I meant Chinese white. Right, so now this one comes up about here into here. Most of this is going to be covered in a minute. Into there, down there, down here, up here. Oh, actually, it comes sort of right up here. Bring it up a bit further. That's better. Right up there. Into there, right down here, into here. Right, so I'm going to just come right down into all these bits here, and then I'm going to leave it for now like that. That's going to be okay for now as it is. Right, now I need a really dark green now, so let's get a really dark green. So I've got I'm going to mix blue and yellow for my green again, and then I'm adding burnt umber and some Payne's grey in it to get it. I want it to look so it's only just a green, only just green, sort of half browny black colour, only just green. In fact, I think I'm going a bit close to it now. I don't look bad at that. Let's try that. Now then. Could do we getting these little spiky effects here. This here is the very tops of pine trees that are absolutely miles away, and that's what I mean. Most of this stuff's going to be covered in pine trees. They sort of come up there like that. There's a lot up this side. Got to try and get them facing straight up, because obviously they grow upwards, but they're that far away. These, see them little tiny little spikes on there, they're that far away that's all they look like. There we are. Oh, it's right. There's a bit of a gap there. Then there's some more there. There's some more about there. Don't really matter where they are on this picture. You can put them where you want. You ain't got to follow mine, or I ain't got to follow this picture either. I can do what I want. So I'd say about here. Try and get them spikes a bit longer. good. There. And there's like a gap. There's some more about here. As long as these register as pines, then I'll be happy. Right, so that's it. I'm going to sit back now, hold it at the back of my brush and just sort of dab it in like that. And this is all pines down here. All the lot down this side is all pines. So just dabbing in, try a slight spiky effect. Yeah, nice. Yep, same down all this, all the way across here. There's all pines. There's a bit of a gap in there like that. A few gaps in there. Slightly lighter colour on this side, so I've just lightened it slightly. That's all my pines down there. Right, now then, I've got to get into this now and paint round all these bits. So, just get my colour on my brush, dark green. And all I do is just come in round there like that. So I'm just negative painting. So I'm painting round that brush, so you can see it. So I'm going round it, look. And that's made that so you can see it. Same there, around that bush, around there. So I'm painting round, creating the bush by painting round it. Tad more green in there, it's looking a bit black. There we are, same in there, same down there. This bit here, on this side, it's slightly lighter colour, so there we are, up to there, look, up to there. Just painting round it, look. And that's giving me my bushy effect, look. See that? Yeah. Pine trees in there. Well, pine trees in here. Dee 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 dee. There. Right, I'm going to want a bit of this brush here, because this bit here is flat. That's it, just for that bit there. Oh no. Some of these pine trees here, I think my hand's in way. I'm just sort of doing that, look. These are a bit bigger down here. Can you see what I'm doing, look? I'm just popping in a bit of a thing there. Make them look a bit bigger. That's it. So some there, look. These are slightly bigger in here because they're closer. These down front here are a lot closer. So I can get them in looking a little bit bigger. Well. Dee 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 dee. There. This is taking a bit longer than I thought it would, to be honest. I'm just going to pop a couple in there, a couple of little ones. Yeah, something like that. And I think I'll take my little brush and pop in a few more. We'll let in a low light and just do it like that, look. So they're my little, just to give a little pattern of some trees. Now I'm not going to stick this in everywhere, just in places to give a little impression that there's some trees in there. So we come in there, look, some low lights. There are little tiny trees. Right, up in here, some little trees. In fact, this is a good place to do them. There. So put some low lights in there. Up here, these will be tiny up there, tiny little things. Same here. If I'm doing out up here, here on my brush, they want to be tiny. Just filling in there. Now, I tell you what, some of these gaps in here might be a good idea to just soften in a bit, perhaps. Soften some of them gaps in. If I do it with this brush, it might just give me that tree tree effect. And again, it might take all day. So let me just sit right back and have a look at that. You know what, that's not looking too 10 bad at all. Not looking 10 bad. Right, I'm going to mix up now a slightly lighter colour, pop in a few highlights. Mix a slightly lighter green. A bit more yellow in that. More green. Let's try that. Just pop some a tiny bit lighter. Fill them gaps in with it. Dee 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 dee. Just for a bit of interest. There we are. Some in here, look, these are slightly lighter ones. There, you know what, I'm going to go lighter still. Just a couple of proper highlights in there like that. Look at that. That's going to fade back more though. That'll not stay as strong as that. But that's some Chinese white just dabbed in there. If you're on proper watercolour paper, you might be able to do that by washing a bit out rather than using Chinese white. But on this stuff, it seems to be easier with Chinese white. So, yeah, just getting me sending this realistic effect by doing this, making it look more realistic. Bringing in a bit of interest. Some of these darker ones, some of them in there and all. They're all topset trees. Now, if I sit back, I think that's starting to look like trees now. Tiny bit more of this Chinese white. I think this is starting to look a bit more like trees now. I'll stick some more of that in. That looks too much at the minute, but that'll fade right back, trust me. You'll not hardly see that in a minute when it fades back. I'll pop some dark bits in next to it. Yeah, when that fades back, you'll not see that light. When I dry it, it'll fade back as I dry it. Some bits in there. And then I'll stick some of them white bits in as well. Where that just there, on it there. A couple of that there. I think we're about. Let me stand back at top at row. A few bits here, look. I think this is going to register as pine trees when I stand back and have a look, hopefully. Might look a bit tall there, so put some next to it. There we are. I suppose this bottom bit here, you could piddle for a long time with this, but you probably don't need to. That's probably registering as pine trees now. Let me get to the back at room. Yeah, that looks like distant pine trees to me. That'll do me. Right, so now I need to come in, I think, and get some more low lights into these bushes. So let's have a look. Get a nice dark green colour. So there we are. That's a bit darker. A bit into there. Bit of dark green in there. Oh, that's nice. Then I think onto there, like that. Onto there. To there. Same on here. There. There. I think this tree's not bad. I don't know because I need a lot extra on there. It's probably alright as it is. That's that. Right, I do think I need an even lower light in there as well. So I've got, that is low light, Bontumber, Payne's Grey and green. Not too much. What am I on about? The green from yellow and blue. My Bontumber and a tiny bit of Payne's Grey, but don't go mentals on the Payne's Grey. In fact, you could use a dark blue it'll look even nicer. But I've got some paint grey I want using up, so using that. There we are, some nice little low lights in there. There's a few bits up here in this tree and all. Just a few. Makes it look dead close up when you get a few really low lights. But yeah, that's looking alright. Same again, this looks quite dark at the minute, but when it dries, it'll look a bit lighter, a bit better. So, there we are. It's not looking bad at that. Right. I'm just thinking, I'm going to mix a slightly lighter green, something like that, and just come back in there a bit with that. That's it, and that one, and some of these, and that one. That's it, and just blend it down a bit. That's sad. So now, done that, I think I'll be able to get a bit of a twig in there like that. Look, that looks nice. Little one in there, and then some little grasses in there. This is all quite close up, so we can stick some little grasses and stuff in. Anywhere where there's some thick dark, you can stick some little grasses in. Right, let's get me rigger brush and pop some more little grasses in. Nice dark colour. There's some little grasses in here. I think down this side here. Nice bits of grasses in there. Look. And a couple this side. There we are. Looks nice, doesn't it? That's that. I think let's have some little branchy things going on in there. Look like that. They're gonna look good. That one just coming down there like that. One there, just a couple, not too many. Yeah, another one there. Can you just see that? That's a little. Are they dark enough? Little branches. I think you can see them, can't you? Let's thicken them up a bit. There, and then knit in there. That's it. There. Oh, what's that there? Little there. I think I'll leave that for branches. Let's pop in. Tell you what, there's a little dot there. Can you see it? So that's why I'm going to pop Peter in there, and Paul's a bit closer. Paul in there. There. Peter and Paul. Let's put a BD. Don't usually use my rigger for this. I'll put BD there. So B D Bertie D Bertie D there. Bertie D. Right. And see you on the beach. Eat it.